Hello, 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 beautiful souls. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So it is January the 2nd, 2026. And again, this video will reach you in divine timing, exactly when you are meant to receive this information that is going to be coming through today. I'm very guided, clearly disheveled, just finished my workout and felt very called to hit record 2-2 on the timer for confirmation. Instead of like cleaning up, doing the shower and doing all of it, it's like just sit down, throw a hoodie on. I'm literally in my workout shorts at home, my sports bra, and I threw just a zip up hoodie here. So hopefully everyone's doing well. And clearly the reason why I'm guided to literally just sit down and hit record is this video is going to be talking about fitness and nutrition around the process of awakening. Okay, so there's going to be that. So maybe you guys are familiar that I have a background in personal training, health and wellness, coaching, nutritional coaching, holistic versions of that, working with plant medicine, herbs. It started in 2010. So I was technically certified in 2010. And I've been in the business now for probably close to 20 years, 117 on the timer. And so some of you might be here on this platform knowing me from the process of the spiritual awakening, doing these 111 days for Freak Speak. And this is day 53. Okay, keeping it real. The kiddo's here for a little while longer. All right. And I was just really guided during my workout and I hadn't worked out since the 27th. So again, my workouts have completely changed, and we'll see what decides to come through in this particular video, or if there's another video that I need to produce as well and to create. But I was really guided to talk about, because it is that time of year, and I wasn't guided until literally working out to talk about this. Because if you are watching me from knowing my background in the health and wellness industry, maybe you are, maybe you're not. So if you have, you've seen the evolution up until this point with this awakening process, and my awakening and learning and growing throughout this process. Or you're here because you've landed because of Freak Speak, because of the Divinely Aligned Collective, or you were just presented my frequency and energy in your space, in your awareness, because Source, your team, felt you were ready to be receive this information, receive this frequency, this information, this energy from me. Okay, and that's always real, it's always raw, it's messy, it's authentic here. I've said this for years. Anytime I've created any type of content, there's no editing. There's just talking and having a conversation on things that I feel passionate about, or I'm called to, or I'm inspired to, or I literally get downloads to talk about. So I have a little bit of a drainage this morning, not a lot, just a little bit detoxing this morning. So depending on where you're at in this journey, hopefully your detox is not too crazy major right now. I know a lot of people going through massive purges, detoxes, and cleanses. And then wanting to go back, they're wanting me to go back and talk about the nervous system and dysregulation of the nervous system in regards to this, in my little venture on realizing my healing process this year of recalibrating and healing my nervous system. And I had basically continued to fight against what my body was trying to tell me over the years. And again, everything happens for a reason. I went through everything that I went through for my entire life, but especially we're going to try and keep it specific to this topic of the health and wellness industry and the fitness industry. And there is still a lot of programming in there as well. A lot of commercialism, a lot of consumption, a lot of all of that. And again, there is a part of the healing process in this process that goes along with that, for sure. And I haven't really been called to do that. I did a while back sit down and talk about my nutritional journey on a live for YouTube, and it just would not post. So that, to me, 422 on the timer was a confirmation that that information was not meant to be received at that now present self. And now if I feel called to, I will sit down and record that particular. That was about an hour long. So keep your eye out if you're curious about that particular journey. So again, I was just called here to have this conversation with the collective. And again, I hope you're doing well. This is, like I said, day 53 of Freak Speak, of 111 days of sharing my real raw frequency and energy. And today is going to be geared around the awakening and the correlation in with the health and wellness aspect, the nutritional aspect, which I've kind of touched on a little bit here and there. But yeah, so my last workout was on the 27th, and I have pretty much not done many workouts this year, if you want to technically track them. Tracking was a big thing. Data information has always been helpful for me through this process throughout these years, and it's gradually letting certain aspects of that go through this healing process. So just working out and moving my body when I feel like I want to move my body. But typically I've been doing this for years, semi-conscious, unconsciously, that around the fall and winter time, I start doing less intense physical workouts with weights, strength training, HIIT training, and things like that, and go more into like a slower, still using weights, but not as often, and doing more breath work, do more yoga, meditation, things like that. Stretching and move my body, walking. But I even haven't been doing a lot of walking because I've been really called to just be as still as possible, as much as possible, and then move my body at those moments, which is usually only about 2 or 3 days a week, maybe, picking up some weights, doing like a full body compound strength workout. And here's the secret. Once you clean house, in the sense of truly doing the work, doing the healing work, going into the root cause of why you are doing what you're doing when it comes to your nutritional protocol, your health and wellness and or fitness protocol, when you truly heal the root cause, which is usually trauma, hurt, pain, inner child stuff, past life stuff, all of that, when you heal from that, the effortlessness that comes with being able to build and to maintain a body that you love, that loves you back, is phenomenal. So if I were to tell people that I basically almost completely reduced my physical fitness down to what if you were looking from the fitness industry from the outside in, they wouldn't quite understand. And the other part is I don't really, in with my nutrition, I don't eat in a way that correlates with what the industry is telling you you should eat or how you should do things to get specific results. And again, yes, I used to, just like you probably do, or still continuing to do, to chase a specific look, a result, a physique. And you're not doing it from a place of love. I guarantee it. If you sit and you listen and you tap in, you guarantee you might think you're coming from a place of love, but basically you're coming from a place of hating yourself. You're coming from a place of hurt, of pain, of trauma, being bullied, having been the fat kid. That was me. But me going through that stuff was because I had issues with weight and accepting my body and the way it is, and loving myself was because of the hurt and the pain, the trauma, the abuse that I dealt with as a young person. Okay, so it's all, again, everything happens for a reason, exactly how it's supposed to, even though when you look back, if you were to tell someone your story, it might not look so great. All right, so be grateful for all of those things, because that builds you up and helps you along the way to give you these tools and these lessons and these wisdom to be able to share with other people that are ready to hear these teachings or this wisdom. Okay, so again, I would never change anything. I just honor and I am grateful for all of it. Okay. So again, we're here January 2nd. So we all know, if you're familiar with this new year bullshit, these New Year's resolutions. And again, I'm saying let's take the energy that is being put into that and reconstruct it and make it your own, and quit falling into the traps and the paradigms, the programming and the conditioning that's built around that. There might be some good wisdom in there, but take and extract it and make it yourself, and doing it from a place of love. So first and foremost, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you eating a certain way? Why are you working out a certain way? Are you following specific programs to get specific results? Are you listening to content creators? Because there's many out there that are great, but are they still sharing with you the old paradigms of this is the workout you have to do, this is how you have to eat, and this is what you need to do to get these specific results, to get this beach body and all of this bullshit? Okay. What it is basically coming back to self, as the big message has been through this awakening process, is coming back to self and knowing who you truly are. And yes, moving the body is really good. That's moving energy. That's energy in motion. emotion, energy in motion. And I get a lot of downloads when I work out. Sometimes I get more when I'm working out than I do when I'm meditating, because that's how I tap in. But again, over the years, I've learned that I wasn't really doing this in a healthy way. Yes, I got results. I got good wisdom, lessons, all of it. I've learned a lot when it comes to that. But I also know on this awakening process, I had to slow the fuck down. I had to reduce things. And again, I already picked that up through the fall and winter months, where I would be, again, more introspection, more that divine feminine, honoring my divine feminine. And then in the summer and spring, that's more the divine masculine. So finding the balance with the circadian biology and finding the balance within nutrition and fitness that also correlated with my divine feminine and divine masculine. Yes, I hung out in my divine masculine pretty much most of my life because of, again, it was a form of protection, because of the hurt, the trauma, the abuse, and all of that stuff. So does this resonate? And again, I said take what resonates and leaves the rest, but get curious to 1101, thank you, on the timer. So get curious about this information. Does this resonate? You know, are you continuing to listen to this information, even though it's kind of all over the place? There's some nuggets of wisdom in here. If there's not, it's going to resonate with your soul, and it's going to bypass the ego and mind. So what I'm saying in my frequency and energy is going to bypass the ego and mind, and you might not pick that aha moment, that download, that awakening moment, that activation, until maybe a few days down the road. Okay, 1133 in the timer. So I give a lot of numbers as signs, synchronicities, and key codes, and if you've seen my other videos, you'll understand what that is. If not, get curious into what those might mean for you in with being in alignment, making sure you're on your path. These are things you coded yourself with. Again, you're receiving this message right here, right now, whether it is on January 2nd or if it's in the future on, you know, next year at this time or in 6 months. You will receive what you were meant to receive for your highest and best good always, through divine light, divine love, divine truth, divine wisdom, and divine power. And so how I approach, I haven't really worked with clients because I thought that was going to be my forever. Like, I was going to be in the health and wellness industry, and that was my purpose. That was part of my purpose at the time. And yes, I was needed in those people's lives. Again, because of my energy, my frequency, and my approach, and of course, because of my own personal background. Again, that's why we're here to share our stories, because it's relatable. Okay, you will resonate and you will relate to certain people who have been through certain things or similar things that are able to help you on this journey because they've come through it on the other side. All right. Okay, so let's chap in. Where are we going with this? Okay, so nervous system. So I wrote a couple things down because I didn't want to. And usually I just write a couple key things down to help bring in the download a little more. So the nervous system, healing, the root cause. Okay, here we go. Are you continuing to chase old versions of yourself? So let's say, just as out of circumstance, are you chasing, let's say you had this quote unquote perfect body according to your ego mind. Okay, did you have this perfect body 3 years ago? Now in 2026, you're going to continue to try to chase that 3 years later. You are a completely different human being on so many levels beyond the mind and ego. Okay, completely. You can't chase what was. You just are right now. So you have to move forward into what you are right now and what your body needs and requires right now. And I'm talking about movement, fitness, breathwork, meditation, whether you're strength training, yoga, Pilates, whatever your jam is, whatever your passion is in that. And that's going to change and evolve. So if it worked one way then, it's guaranteed it's not going to work. It's just going to continue to push back. So what you're going to see, thank you. So what you're going to continue to see, if you're continuing to chase results from the past, you're going to get some really loud information from your physical body, from your field, that's not working. What might that look like? You're going to be sick all the time. You're going to have symptoms of maybe some skin issues. You're going to have food aversions. So what was working then isn't going to work now. If you were doing a specific workout routine, that specific workout routine is probably not going to work the same way as it did then now. So does this make sense? Can you hear me? Does this make sense? Does this resonate? Okay. And the key thing is you continue to chase and chase and chase because you think you're broken. You're not broken. You're perfect just the way you are. You're a whole. But in this industry, we are program conditioned and kind of thrown in your face that you are broken, that you are something to fix. Yes, it's really good to be aware, but again, it's going back to self and asking the human vessel, asking your avatar, what does it need for nutrition, for health and wellness, for movement and fitness and all of that. You need to ask your physical avatar what it needs instead of telling it what it needs, because you continue to tell it, it's going to continue to break down and break down and break down. And the human body, 1511 on the timer, 1515 on the timer, it's going to continue to break down. The human body has all capabilities to regenerate, rejuvenate, and to heal itself. But you've been programmed and conditioned to think that that's false. That's the facts. Okay? And you're going to see that more and more as we progress in these next 3 to 5 years, for sure. Okay? But if you continue to keep pushing back, it's like running into a brick wall, and you're just slowly breaking down, slowly breaking down, slowly breaking down at a molecular DNA mitochondrial level. Okay? We gotta like surrender and get to the root cause. Are you doing this because you were picked on, because you were bullied, because you were told you were ugly, that you were no good, that you were sexually abused, physically abused? What is your reason why you continue to chase this physique or this facade? Are you doing it to look a certain way, to get this beach body, to get people to like you, to accept you, to love you? It doesn't work that way. You have to love and accept yourself first. 1616 on the timer. Okay? So it takes a time, it takes a process and a toll. I've spent most of my, like I said, I really got into this injury. I got certified in 2010, but I was already kind of slowly being pulled into the industry before that, probably a couple years before that, at a small local town gym. But again, I was going, and I've done waves of this where I go balls in and then I rebound. So you go balls in, rebound. So I went through this balls to the wall, rebounding, balls to the wall, rebounding. And I see this all the time in the industry. And I've seen this over the years with clients that I have worked with, that you go all in and then you rebound. You go all in with a specific workout routine and then rebound and you do nothing. The same thing with the nutrition. I'm going to rattle them off. Veganism, vegetarianism, keto, carnivore, high fat, high protein, low protein. These are just some to name a few. Fasting protocols. And again, I'm not saying fasting's bad or any of these protocols are wrong, but the reason that they might work for that person, but because they got such good results. And I did this too. I'm guilty of this too, but I can look back now. I can look at that macro picture, that I can look back and take that higher perspective and say, oh, that was for me to learn and to experience as a tool for the future, to pull that out of my toolbox if it was necessary to pull out of my toolbox for the future versions of myself. But you see these people who are pushing these programs or these ways of eating and saying this is the only way you're going to get results because it works so well for them. And again, I did this almost with every protocol I followed, that you're just so excited to share that, and especially if you're in the industry, but you have to understand, I'm trying to help people now to understand their own body. I am a guide, I am a teacher, I am a way shower in this industry. If I am asked to have clients, or when I'm with clients, it's to be able to help them to understand themselves. Yes, in the beginning, I followed, follow this nutrition protocol, follow this workout protocol, you get results. And I didn't know then what I know now. Again, there's a lot of time that has passed. I've grown exponentially since then. But there are certain reasons why specific clients did not get long-term results. And I don't know if I've had any clients that have had and maintained long-term results. Most of us haven't, okay? And because you're jumping from one thing to another. Now, if I work with a client, which I still haven't had, and well over probably a year or more, and I actually started shifting into more of a nutritional based, focusing on nutrition versus the fitness first aspect of it, and then talking about self-care, self-love, and then doing a little more of the healing work. But again, this is before I even got into more of my awakening in this past year. So Sources basically cleared my house. So when people say, what do you do? I'm like, well, I come from a history of personal training, health and wellness, group fitness instructing, holistic living, all of that. I said, but that's not who I am. I used to use that as a definition of who I am. That's not who I am. That's an aspect, or those are lessons and teachings and wisdom, but that's not who I am at the core. And basically through this whole entire awakening process, Source, Creator, has cleared my path. And again, I coded and contracted it to be this way, whether I realized it or not in the moment. I basically slowly faded out. Basically, my clientele faded out. Where at the beginning of this process, I was busy as hell in 2010. I had clients coming out of my ears. I was teaching a lot. The kiddo wasn't born yet. He was born in 2013. I started building this business, this experience in my life. And then, it would come in waves. And then in the past 2 to 3 years, and especially in the past year, Source has been slowly clearing everything out. Because I was meant to go deeper and do different things, and to heal and to learn and to grow and to become something bigger and better for what is to come. Not knowing at that time, as you usually don't while you're in it, that is what you are here to do. But at those times, I was definitely needed for my frequency and energy, for my wisdom, for my knowledge, for my skills and abilities. Okay. But I have not had any clientele. I'm not chasing any clientele. I've mentioned this in past videos. I don't chase clientele anymore. I don't. I never even got into, and I understand now why, 2-1 on the timer. So please look at these numbers and get curious about these numbers that I keep rattling off as signs, synchronicities, and key codes. Spiritual numbers, angel numbers, whatever you want to call them. So I couldn't see it then, but like I can see it now on why everything was cleared out. And I had to quit chasing the clients, quit chasing to see if they're on track, to see if they're doing the protocol, seeing if they're following the nutritional guidance, see how they're, I quit chasing that a long time ago. So basically have not had any type of employment through this physical reality in probably close to 2 years. It's been pretty close to 2 years. And that has been, it's been easier to understand now, but at the beginning I wasn't quite an understanding because I know more now. I'm a completely different person with everything I've gone through. The why behind that. Literally, I've had to have my entire life cleared to create space to heal a fried nervous system, a nervous system that has been fried from many years of mental, physical, and emotional abuse as a child, things that I've been healing generational traumas and abuse and all of those, all of the lack mentality. I think part of the clearing, as well as to teach me about a part of the healing, is releasing and letting go the lack mentality, the programming around lack and not having enough. And so there's a whole host of things on that, but it was a process of letting go, just continuing to letting to go and to surrender and quit chasing the clients. And now, sorry, I got lost. So I'm sorry if I'm all over the place. Sometimes that's how it is with the rambling and the channeling. And going back to, see, I just lost it again. That's pretty crazy how that works. My apologies. It'll come back if it's meant to come back. On bringing me to where I'm at. And again, not chasing the clients, but Source creating space for this healing process, for this awakening process. But in that process, I also understand now that it needs to be healed at the root cause. So the last person I worked with in a nutritional counseling session, I had already begun like the big parts of my awakening and knowing that healing the inner child was super duper important as part of this process, because the client was wanting to do exactly what they were doing before to get the same results a year or so later. But when they were doing what they were doing, as hard as they were doing, it's like you're going to have a rebound effect. And that's exactly what happened. They pushed too hard. They chased too hard. Whatever they were doing on the surface level got results, but because it's not addressing the root cause, there's a huge rebound effect. And now revisiting that, I'm like, okay, this isn't going to work. Straight up, this isn't going to work what you were doing before. You need to do the inner child work for this to work. And that needs to be priority first over the fitness over the nutrition. Yes, it's important to listen to your body and to feed your body and to remove toxicity from your body, for sure. And that can look a whole host of many ways on how to do that. But the important thing is, I said to this client, I said, you have to do the inner child work. Otherwise, you're going to keep in this vicious death spiral. And that's what I call this death spiral. And everything is, nothing is linear in general. We're always in the spiral motion. So there's things you might have healed from, but then you have to revisit and then re-heal. There's just different layers, okay? Does that make sense? All right, so it's again, her healing the nervous system. So the reason why this has taken place is because I was guided to go deeper and heal my nervous system from all of this. And how's that look like from the outside in? That means eating in accordance to how my body wants to eat versus how I want my body to eat, versus the ego mind saying, you have to eat a high protein protocol, you have to eat all of this, or you have to eat only this way or that way, or you got to do this or you got to do that, versus just saying, okay, this is what we need today. This is what we need in a few hours. This is what we don't need. Okay? But we might not need it just for right now. Maybe we'll need it in a few months. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, so this is part of this process. Is I think the reason why I went through everything I went through is because there will be aspects of what I've been through to help people in the wellness aspect of it during this awakening process. Okay, and again, it's just going back to self, doing the healing work. Instead of chasing the next routine, chasing the next influencer, chasing the next nutritional protocol to get these results, because you're chasing something specific. And I always go back to, what's your why? Are you chasing a bikini body because you're trying to validate something, get validation, get acceptance, whatever that is? What is your why? Okay? What is your why? And again, when you see these influencers just going hard at this information, it's worked for them, but again, they're still coming from a place of unhealed aspects of themselves, unconsciously, okay? And I can see that from the bigger picture. I can look at that macrocosm of this industry. It's a very toxic industry. It really, really is. I didn't know it while I was in it. But I'm not only just healing from a nervous system, all that, I spent years chasing, beating myself up, chasing the next protocol, chasing the next program, riding my bike super hard and long, hiking, not listening to the signs, synchronicities, and the cues that my body was giving me. I was, there were certain things I would chase where I was just completely exhausted and fried. You should not feel that way. Moving your body should feel good. It should feel good. Eating a certain way should make you feel good, give you energy, give you life, give you vitality, should help you heal, sleep well, think well, speak well, all of that. Okay? So allow yourself to evolve through this process. Allow yourself to evolve and quit chasing old aspects of yourself. Quit chasing old aspects of yourself, because you have changed and you're evolved. If you're still experiencing lots of fatigue, lots of inability to recover, if you're experiencing health conditions, whether it's skin conditions, my incense is coming up and over my shoulder. If you're experiencing any breakdowns, mental, physical, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is, we need to revisit that and quit chasing what you did before, because you are not the same person. You're not the same person that you woke up from this morning, let alone 3 years ago. So if you're still experiencing, and yes, there's other factors going on while you're also experiencing the light codes, the downloads, the solar flares, Gaia's going through an upgrade. We could get into the metaphysical aspect of that, is why you're still continuing to experience some of these symptoms, these signs that your body is telling you. But why not just pause, take a breath, be still, and work from a place of stillness versus a place of doing and chasing, right? Going and doing the introspection, okay, and being more still. And I understand 1,000% that that's the hardest part of us that have been in the industry for so long, to do less to get results versus doing more to get results. So it's not about doing more to get results. It's actually about doing less to get the results. I said this yesterday. Being more still collapses time. For sure. So it's not about the time of doing more and chasing more and hustling more, whether it's the fitness industry or outside of the fitness industry. It's about doing less and being more still than it is about doing more and chasing and chasing and chasing. I really hope this makes sense and it reaches the people that it is meant to reach in perfect timing. I really do. And I understand that this video, if you've made it this far, thank you for clicking play, getting curious, maybe liking and subscribing and sharing with anyone that you feel like it needs to be shared with, because there's nuggets of information and wisdom in here, frequency and energy for sure, that you are receiving, whether your ego mind, it bypasses the ego and mind. I know the ego and mind wants to hold on to that. And again, if you know me from that industry, you know there's been a complete 180. I didn't know that I was going to go from that to doing videos talking about my spiritual awakening and doing videos on light language and downloading, channeling, and all of that. I knew I was definitely tapped in when I would have conversations with clients. I would say the right thing. I would connect a certain way. And like, again, that was a form of, is a form of verbal channeling, whether I was conscious of it. Now I'm more conscious of it when I have those conversations, that I tap in to higher consciousness more deeply, okay, when it comes to working with people. But again, like I said, I really haven't had any, and I've had no desire. Honestly, I haven't had any desire to chase anything when it comes to nutrition protocols. I let all tracking go, all the apps go. I do write my workouts down every day because that's fun. I like to track that. But outside of that, I don't use any nutritional trackers anymore. I let all of that go. I let that go. That was part of the surrendering in this healing process that I needed to let go. And I'm okay with that, right? I'm perfectly okay with that. And every day is different when it comes to my nutritional protocol, okay? Every day is completely different when it comes to my nutritional protocol. And I just kind of follow the sign synchronicities and nudges and intuitive hits on what I might need nourishment-wise, okay? And I use supplements, and again, but I use supplements in a way that that kind of goes in rotation. Yes, I have certain ones that I've been using for years, and there's some that come and go. Just like herbs, when I use my herbs and things like that, or my oils, my essential oils, these come and go in flow with whatever I need in that now present moment. Okay, does that make sense? 3222 on the timer. So I really hope this resonates with those that it's in, and it reaches those that it's meant to reach, especially now. So I'm just asking you to please be still, stop chasing, start healing. Start recognizing that you are not what the industry is trying to tell you you should be. You were bigger and better than that. And yes, that might have been necessary for those past versions of yourself. But moving forward, it's coming back to self again, finding and awakening to who you truly are. And you are beautiful, you are perfect, and you are whole just the way you are. And doing a specific nutritional protocol or fitness protocol or whatever it is does not make you, that's not who you are. That's not who you are. You're deeper than that. You're more vast than that. Okay? So we have to surrender to it all. Thank and have gratitude for those aspects of yourself that you went through that on this particular journey. 333 on the timer. And get curious. I will not have probably very many fitness and nutritional videos on this platform. Thank you. That brings me back to what I lost thought of. There was a reason why I was never inspired to do massive amounts of nutritional or fitness content for my YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. Yes, I would do live videos in the fitness and nutritional aspect on Instagram and Facebook on and off over the years when I felt inspired to share information. But there is a reason why this specific platform here on YouTube was not an inspired action, a calling for me to build that platform into this fitness or wellness industry, because that's not where I'm going. I definitely followed the guidance of my intuition, of my higher self, not to create this platform for that specifically. And I never tried to pigeonhole myself into, this is who I am. I am this vegan, keto, I'm a HIIT trainer. I'm a kickboxing instructor. I'm this, I'm that. I'm a personal trainer. I try not to pigeonhole myself into those, because especially when you create specific channels for that, yes, maybe necessary at the time, but I was never guided in sharing that here. Like, I never did like workout videos and nutritional videos and all of that here. I would share it in spurts in the other platforms, but here was meant to be held that sacred space for moving forward in what's going forward, and sharing my stories here in just a different way, outside of the industry, outside of the background of my knowledge and my wisdom from the industry. So yes, please quit chasing these things that you're being programmed to, especially this time of year. If you're going to chase anything, chase yourself, chase your healing, chase you, and coming back to self, and know that you are worthy. You have always been worthy. You are perfect, and you are whole just the way you are. And I'm going to end this rambling conversation right here, right now, and I will talk to you soon. Love you, beautiful souls. Love yourself first, and that's not by chasing. It's by going within and remembering who you are. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.